Hey, don't wake me up if I'm dreaming, but this is J. Anthony Frankie, and you're listening to On The Fly with Stevie and Worden. Cheers.
What's up, guys? On the Fly is back again this week. We're recording on a Wednesday night, and this will be the first. Well, actually, the second time I've done this, but it's first time with Worden. We're doing a movie focus, and it's a little bit different than the first one we did. We did one on Teen Wolf. This one's in a little bit different direction, and I'll go ahead and tell you, I have watched this movie twice in my life, and this is since we made these lists. Ward and I made a list each of us made a list of 10 movies that were like our favorite movies, and we gave them to each other. And that's how we're gonna start out for this movie focus. So The Godfather, and that's one of Warden's choices. And believe it or not, I know I'm gonna catch some slack for this. Up until like a month ago, I'd never seen The Godfather. I knew about we're gonna make him an offer you can't refuse. I knew about the horse head, and that's pretty much all I knew about the movie. But I watched it twice. I watched it last week to refresh me. So we're gonna talk about that. And of course, I knew Adrian Balboa was somehow tied into this movie. But we're gonna talk all about that. I'm gonna call him Jason. We just got through talking about that. Worden, how you doing, buddy?
I'm good, man. It's about 104 today in
that all?
San Antonio, and looking forward to 108 this weekend. So it's got the air conditioner on 74, which is good. Doesn't shut off, so I'm saving up now to wash some dishes to start paying my electric bill, because that's going to be high, I'm sure. High is Cheech and Chong, but you've seen those memes. So
yeah,
I'm good, man. Otherwise, how you been?
I'm good. We had a episode last week. It was an older episode that we did before Worden came along with our good friend Warren Meredith from Tame Sorry. We did our top 10 Black Sabbath songs, which the brackets will be out. The Black Sabbath Music Madness Tournament of 64. We just finished up the Rod Stewart one, which I think a lot of people were. There were some people that were upset about the outcome of that. Hot Legs didn't make it. Maggie May ends up being.
There were a lot of good songs that didn't make it. People just don't know what they're talking about. Sorry.
Yeah, and that's the funny thing, when you get those brackets, you can get some people when they're voting. They're like, okay, I know that song, I don't know. So a lot of people don't know the deep cuts, and that's what you go with from there.
Hey, I don't know who said this, but you're doing that 90s challenge now. And I had to disagree with this. Somebody said the Faster Pussycat song, House of Pain, was like one of the worst like cash outs or whatever. That's a good song.
That is a good song.
Speaking for somebody who wasn't close to his father, when that song came out, that hit home. That's a damn good song.
Yeah.
Poison and Faster Pussycat's a very underrated band.
And I'll tell you this,
they're a band that should have been a lot bigger than they were.
I want to say we just finished up the Sweet 16. And I will tell you this, I'll give you a little, before I put the updated bracket out, that House of Pain made it to the next round. They beat Fleetwood Mac. So
I had to go back and listen to some of those songs. I haven't heard them in a while.
And I thought you were going to bring up one guy that I hadn't seen before up there. And I welcome all comments. I welcome all people to vote on Twitter, whatever you want. The way I do these brackets with the whatever year, I go by the week. Like I did May 15th from 1990. What was on the Billboard charts at that time? and I forgot what song he was talking about, but one of them he said was released in 1989.
Black Velvet? Was it Black Velvet?
Black Velvet, yeah, that's what it was. And I was like, well,
That song was so big for so long.
and he was like, well, if what was it, Dark Side of the Moon was out in the 70s and re-entered the charts in the 80s. I was like, if you don't want to vote for it, don't vote for it. Vote for the other song.
I know, right?
But this is what.
Don't be that guy. Hey, by the way.
Yeah, this is how I do it. And I mean, if you don't like it, just don't vote for it. I mean, just don't. And by all means, don't get out there and boycott me or cancel culture me or whatever you want to do. Did you see Paul Stanley's comment about that this week?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't know how to. I read it and I was like, I didn't get it. I was like,
well, I think what he's talking about is, and do you remember the movie? Well, of course, everybody remembers the movie Footloose. This is how I took it. When the preacher in Footloose, he's trying to, they ban dancing, they ban music, they ban
John Lithgow, right?
John Lithgow. And it comes a point in time when he gets a call that they're burning books. And he ends up going over there and said, these books aren't what the problem is. The problem is what's in here. And he kind of has to look at himself and say, okay, I'm doing the same thing. But it's just like he said, cancel culture could be more dangerous than the things that you are boycotting. And the way I took it is like, okay, let's say you have something you want to boycott, you want taken off, but then what's different if somebody wants to come along and take away something that you like? It's you open up a huge can of worms whenever you do this. And what happened to, I'm trying not to get political on here. I don't want to do it, but what happened to the times when you didn't like something, if it wasn't, and I'm not talking about racism, I'm not talking about anything like that. By all means, I'm totally against that. I'm talking about some of this stuff that people are getting so butthurt about that it's not. 20 years ago wasn't a big deal. 10 years ago wasn't a big deal. If you didn't like it, you just didn't watch it. Turn the channel. Turn it off. Don't listen to it. Just if it's not hurting, if it's not racist or anything like that, let it go.
Two words for you: social media.
Well, that's true too. But
everybody's got a voice. Everybody's got an opinion.
Everybody's got a platform. And we're going to get to that in just a second too, on a little something that upset me. But I'm not, and I'm going to bring this up too when we talk about this. But yeah, I kind of, and it was, to me, it was like different Paul Stanley than what he's been portraying in social media here lately. I mean, I don't know what I did hear. It was something about, they got asked about, gosh, I can't think of the actress's name. She got taken off a show for something she said, and Gene and Paul totally disagreed with it. And
was it the girl from? Was it Gina from Star Wars, from The Mandalorian? Was it her?
That was it. That was it. And they didn't agree. They didn't agree with it, and because Gene was like, I think she's a great actress, and you're taking away her freedom of speech and stuff like that. I was like, well, this has been going on for a while with people. That's what it's all about. But I think that may have that spurred that on, but I don't know for sure.
And talking about politics, this isn't just on one side. This is both sides.
Oh,
this
no.
It's
both sides. You got it.
Because I get that stuff about musicians that I don't necessarily agree with, but I don't cancel them. I still listen to them.
I mean,
some of the stuff with Kid Rock, I don't agree with everything he says, but I still listen to him. I don't agree. I agree with you. Like with the girl Gina, she said that stuff in her own time. She wasn't on Disney's platform saying that. If you're using we have a thing at work to where we can do in our own time, but we can't use company time or resources to do it. Right. She wasn't doing that. It should be the same. She has a right, unless you're egging people on to start a riot. That's another podcast. And stuff, and egging people on to hurt somebody else. I mean, yeah, you should be able to speak. I mean, you don't necessarily like what you speak, but I mean, I know right now that me and you, probably disagree on a lot of stuff, but we're not trying to cancel each other.
Yeah, I
We
mean,
don't talk. We don't talk about it because we know the boundaries. And if more people were like that, to see other side of you, like, well, I don't agree with you, but we're still friends.
thank you, thank you. There's a lot of people out there that don't think that way though. But
Yeah, it's my way or the highway.
exactly, and I couldn't be like that. I couldn't. You'd have to say something mighty bad for me uh, to want to just not talk to you.
And honestly, if you want to boycott something, boycott it. Just don't tell everybody and their mother about it. Just go and freaking boycott it. Don't try to shame me if I don't share your boycott.
Exactly. Went to see Top Gun Maverick this weekend. I know you haven't seen it yet. So
Going Friday.
Yeah. And it was good. It was really good, but not as good as the first one, in my opinion. I mean, and that's taking nothing away from the movie. It was a different feel, and I'm not going to get into too much. It was just a different feel than the first movie. See, and you'll see, and I think knowing you'll see what I'm talking about when you watch it. It was good. I mean, really good. Tom Cruise did a really good job. The storyline was really good. I was surprised, but there's something that happens that I didn't understand.
We got to talk about this next week.
Yeah, there's something that, and I'm not going to get, but I'll
tell me.
I'm not going to spill the beans, but I've never seen it. I've never seen it done in a movie before.
Top Gun, it's got one of my favorite actors, St. Louis Cardinals fan, John Hamm. I don't know if you've ever seen the TV show Mad Men. It's probably one of my favorite shows of all time. I love it. And I think John Hamm's great. And I heard he does really good too.
He is. He's really
and
good.
And the guy that plays Goose's son, I forget his name, but we'll get to talk about this later. He's one of the main characters in The Offer, the story about the Godfather.
He's been in a bunch of movies. I can't think.
Yeah.
If my wife, not my wife, my daughter was in here right now.
Yeah,
I'll tell you his nane because every time he came,
I am so bad with names. But Miles, is it Miles Austin? Hello, cowboy. I'll say Miles Davis, but you need a trumpet. Miles Kennedy. No,
that's Slash's singer, Alter Bridge. One of my favorite singles, by the way. But yeah, Miles Tennant, I think is his name.
Yeah, he's in it, and he's in that show, The Offer, which we'll talk about. Yeah, and of course Tom Cruise is in another person that I don't really necessarily agree with on like his, Scientology. Call it what you want. I mean, it works for some people, but and I'm not a big fan of his personal life, especially how he treated Nicole Kidman. How do you dump that? I don't get that. But I'm not going to cancel him. I mean, he's in some good movies.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to stop. That didn't when me and my daughter started talking about going to see it. I wasn't like I was like, Tom Cruise is in this. He's in Scientology. I'm not going to that movie. No, I want to go see a good movie.
Yeah, exactly.
So anyway,
you're allowed in this country. Last I checked, is to have your own way, as long as you're not hurting somebody or doing damage to something. And that's what social media is good about, bringing people together. But, you hook up with some of these people and you remember them, then you realize why you didn't talk to them for 30 years. It's like, oh, that's why. It's like when you go to a reunion, it's like, I've never been to mine because the people I was friends with in high school, I'm still friends with. I was a loser, but
Yeah. I'll tell you this story and then we'll move on. I filmed a graduation at another school, a nearby school, not the school my daughter goes to. Last Thursday and Friday night, I was over there. They had baccalaureate and they had graduation. So after the baccalaureate, that was finished at 8:00. I sat out in that parking lot till after 10 o'clock. It was one of the graduates. His dad graduated with me, and I hadn't seen him. I'd seen him briefly here and there, but we sat out in that parking lot for 2 hours talking about stuff that we did back in the day. And I was like, darn, we're going to close this parking lot down. They're going to come looking for us for long. But, it was nice. It was, great guy. And it was great to catch up. And hopefully we'll be getting all our guys together. It wasn't, but what's about 11 of us in our graduating class, so
Oh
should be
wow.
hard to get everybody together. But
I had 3,000 in mine,
yeah,
and I'm in a W. Long night.
yeah, that was a long night. Your family could have sat there and was like, "Oh God, take a nap."
I don't know, man. I mean, you kind of you kind of look at kids, and I remember back then when I was young, people told me just enjoy it,
Yeah,
and you know, it's like my grandparents would tell me just enjoy this what you got. And now I see these kids, of course, working for a school district, and I'm like, just enjoy it. I mean,
exactly.
one day you're 17, 18, next day you're 50. I mean, it's like
Don't blink.
I remember me and my buddy Mike, we were leaving, we graduated, and of course I used to smoke back then, and of course we're getting our cigarettes, and the song that came on that I wanted to jam, and I know that you were talking about them earlier. We jammed "Ride the Wind" by Poison.
Yeah,
That was just a cool song because it's about living life, and you think I got my whole life ahead of me. And then you wake up one day and like you're 50 is like, where did all the time go? And I don't know about I don't know what your class song was, but ours was Jesus Jones, Right Here, Right Now.
Oh,
Because
Lord.
it was about like, the wall coming down. I mean, you think about us, Generation X, we're a hell of a generation.
Yeah,
I mean, there's a lot of greatness in this generation. You may not agree with him, Elon Musk. You may not agree with a lot of them, but people like that, Shaquille O'Neal. I mean, we're a kick-ass generation because we were that generation before technology. Our asses had to learn technology.
oh yeah,
We went from typewriters to laptops and
yeah.
America Online, you got mail.
Yeah, our class song, you probably never heard of the group, Soraya.
Oh, I heard of them. That was Brian Wheat's wife at the time, the lead singer.
Oh, really? She was
Yeah, she was married to a guy in Tesla,
Tesla.
the bass player.
Yeah. It was called Timeless Love, and it was off the soundtrack to Shocker. That recently, yeah,
What, the theme song wasn't enough for you guys?
yeah, horrible.
Wake the children, check the children. Are they sleeping?
But I actually put the video of our graduation up on YouTube, on my YouTube, one of my YouTube channels, and that friend of mine watched it when he came back and he said, I couldn't remember the name of the class song. And I was like, nah, probably nobody could but me. So
we're talking about the same band, right?
yeah, it was a woman.
She had that "Love's Got a Hold on Me" or something. What is that song they had? "Love's Done a Number on Me." They had one song that was a radio hit.
I will honestly tell you, that's the only song I ever heard is "Timeless Love." That's the only. And
really?
Yeah.
They had a song that it was on rock radio. Well, we had a pretty good rock station down here. They would play newer bands back then. So yeah, that was I remember that. Love has got a I think it's the lead singer of the woman, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, she was married to Brian Wheat.
Sandy Soraya.
I think she was married to Brian Wheat.
Let me see. Yeah, she was briefly married to Brian Wheat of Tesla in the early 90s, but their marriage ended due to touring pressures. She's then married to actor Brendan Kelly in 1995. So let me see what. Yeah, Timeless Love's there.
Love's Got a Hold on Me, or Love's Done Something to Me. Something about love.
Love Has Taken Its Toll.
Yeah, that was his radio hit.
Okay. They had 2 albums.
It's a radio hit because they still play it on Hair Nation.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Check that
I heard it on Hair Nation Hair Nation. That was a good song.
Yeah. I have to check it out. Getting on to one of the things we want to talk about. We got 2 things to talk about, and then we'll move on to the main event. Bon Jovi, and no, I'm not going to talk about his singing. The original bassist for Bon Jovi, Alec John Such, unfortunately passed away on Sunday at the age of 70 years old. And he was in the band up until, was it after
Keep the Faith? He left after that.
He left after that, and I guess he was asked to leave, is what the story came out. And then
really,
yeah,
I read that he got tired and he didn't want to put with John said that I read that thing that he just left because it's like John compared it to a Bill Wyman leaving the Stones. He just didn't have it in him anymore.
Well,
So that's what I heard. That's what maybe John's being nice. I don't know.
Yeah. They came out shortly after that, though. If he left on his own and they started kind of bashing him, saying that he never played on the studio albums, that was what Hugh McDonald, the bass player now, was always playing studio albums. And he played,
of course, they love him now that he passed.
Yeah, he played live, but, which I don't understand. If he can play a song live, then why can't he play in the studio? They did that with.
We're talking about the same guy that doesn't accept his first two albums, which are good. The guy has no.
And we'll find out.
He's a perfectionist. That's what it is, and it didn't go for him. I think that's a big reason Richie left.
And a sneak peek there, one of the first two albums we'll be doing an album focus on next week. So yeah, that cant comes out. Of course, John Bon Jovi makes a statement talking about how much he loved him and all this stuff. And, of course, social media is lighting up. And they ruled out foul play. I heard that today. They said that I think he lived in South Carolina. He had a friend staying with him. And it was early in the morning, he called him to help him get to bed. And he got him into bed, and the friend just,
left for a bit, came back.
I guess he didn't think anything. It was serious enough but then they came back and he was dead.
Didn't sound like he was gone very long.
No, it didn't sound like it. So getting to that, of course, all the social media, especially the music publication stuff, they're going to put that he passed away. They're announcing that he passed away. Rolling Stone put it, original bass player Alec John Such from Bon Jovi has passed away at the age of 70. So
you mean Rolling Stone covered a death of a rock star?
Yeah,
a hair band rock star.
Imagine that. They didn't do Eric Carr, did they? So affectionately known as Stuart, Eddie Trunk,
your buddy.
Eddie Trunk out there. And don't get me wrong. I'm not one of those that hates Eddie Trunk. I like I can listen to a show because he's kept alive that era of music. He does a lot for that era of music as far as talking, keeping it in mainstream. I'll put it that way. But to the life of me, and I know why he did it. He wants everybody to think, I know this and you don't. And everybody has known this for years. This is Eddie Trunk's tweet replying back to Rolling Stone. Although Alec was pictured / credited on all the Huge albums, it was revealed that he didn't actually play on most of the records. Hugh served as a ghost musician on those huge hits until officially joining the band and replacing Alec. And then he puts, Alec, huge part of live and videos. Rest in peace, Alec. Hello. You decided to do this the day the man's died? How classless is that? I mean, show some class. You didn't have to do that.
Yeah, I have a feeling when either Gene or Paul passes away, his obituary to them will go, these guys played the live backing tracks.
Yeah, they lip sync.
I mean, that's the saying. And yeah, I saw that and I was like, wow, it's not really the time to do that.
No.
Why do you need to do that? Nobody cares about it. And I read the comments on that. I didn't see anybody agreeing with him. They were all calling his ass out.
Nobody liked that. I mean,
and you know how hard it is to get people to agree on anything these days.
Exactly.
Hey, Eddie Trunk did it.
Because I put my tweet back to that was the fact that he felt this necessary to point out the day this man passed is utterly classless. Wow, dude, just wow. And people were like, I don't like him anyway. I mean, people started chiming in, and I can get past the constant name dropping that he does, because he does that all the time.
Oh, I just got a text from so-and-so. Like, okay.
I just, I'm good friends with so-and-so and so-and-so. He was just at my house or something like that. And I'm like, but, I can get past that. But this,
Honestly, if it was me, I'd probably do the same thing. Hell, damn, Paul Stanley just texted me.
Yeah, guys.
Screw you guys. My life's better than y'all. Y'all
Okay,
suck.
I'm out of here. I just got a text from so and so.
That's kind of why I listen to him at times, and I like his show.
Yeah,
But we always have to hear about the Ace deal. We always had to. I mean, and it's like he pick and chooses which bands. Like he's buddies. He's fine with Def Leppard. Def Leppard uses backing tracks, no different than Kiss. That's the rumor, and that's what I've been told.
there was
But
a big.
yeah, and Motley Crue admitted it, but
Yeah.
he goes and interviews them.
There was a
But
big.
it's just the
discussion
fact
on,
that Paul Stanley won't have anything to do with him is why he's butthurt about it.
Exactly.
And honestly, I saw the stuff. I saw the latest video where he was talking about Kiss lip syncing. It's pretty damning. I mean, it's pretty damning. But I mean, I think most people don't care. I think people that care have gave it off the band, years ago.
Yeah.
I'm never going to see him again. I saw him. I know that, but you would be stupid to think anybody else. And why doesn't he call out Ace didn't play on freaking Destroyer? Why doesn't he call out Ace had a card game? Did you know Ace had a card game? He didn't play on a lot of the tracks on Destroyer.
He's not.
But he has to do it when somebody dies.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I like I said, I'm like you. I like the guy, but not the right time, dude.
No. And I mean, but guess what? I'm not going to boycott him. I'm not going to call for everybody to boycott him because I didn't agree with what he did. It was not classy.
Oh, I totally agree. Yeah, and I resubscribe and unsubscribe from Sirius all the time. I listen to Howard Stern a lot, and I listen to him. And I get kind of burned out, so I just cancel. That's how I do my streaming. But no, I'm not, and I still follow him on Facebook and Twitter, and I'll still listen to his shows. Yeah, no, it's.
Oh, I would still listen to him, definitely.
Oh, yeah.
That was.
I mean, you can call somebody out without boycotting them.
Exactly. That's my point.
Yeah.
Anyway.
It's like on Twitter when, like, today I was actually on Facebook, and I had this friend of mine that we have mutual friends. I don't really know the guy, and he can't hear this because he's blocked now. But I sent him something on mistake. It was just I sent it to one of my buddies had the same name. So I resent it, and the guy wrote me back, "Why are you doing this? Are you trying to get blocked?" I guess he saw that I unsent it, and I was like, "Do you want to get blocked?" So I blocked him. It's like, it's like, okay, there's cancel culture for you. You threaten to block me, I'll block you.
Exactly. Turn the tables.
Yep.
But last thing before we get to our main event, and we're not going to dwell on this too much, but we talk a lot about the Shout It Out Loudcast on here. And, last week they didn't put an episode out, and they said it was due to a family emergency. We're not going to get into what that was. If you want to know, you can find out. But you need, I don't know what your faith is, but, if whatever compels you to do to say a prayer, pray for that Shout It Out Loudcast family, that Tom and Zeus, just say a little prayer for them. And, we hope, we totally understand, I don't understand what they're going through, but we totally understand that family is so much more important than a podcast. Take your time, guys. Yes. Your Loudcast family, all the guys that I talked to this week, we all love you guys, and we're praying for you. And if there's anything we can do for you at all, just let us know. We're not going to bother you, but we've got you in our prayers. And like I said, if there's anything we can do, we will do it. I know me and Worden will. And
we're thinking about you guys, and we wouldn't have met was it for the Shout Out Loud.
Exactly. So I mean, we've got a future guest coming on that's on the Loudcast family. Like we might have three that's a member of the Loudcast family. So it's kind of like when they talk about the NFL football, the coaching tree, like the Bill Walsh coaching tree, and now it's going to be like the Tom and Zeus podcasting tree that goes down. We get a Loudcast.
You need to forget Bill Walsh and talk about Coach Pop. Both coaches under him are in NBA Finals right now.
Oh, that's true.
Let's be a little bit more modern.
That's true.
Pop deserves it.
Steve Kerr, though, he played for the Bulls. He learned all
Steve
that.
Kerr played for the Spurs, and he won a couple games for us. So
Oh, he won a couple of championships for us, boy. No doubt about it. Yeah. But
you're a Bulls fan?
well, I'm a Michael Jordan fan.
Oh, Michael Jordan.
I'm
Who's
a
your
Carolina
basketball team? I don't think we've talked basketball.
NBA. I don't pull for anybody because I don't watch NBA anymore because they don't play defense. So
I'm a Spurs fan always.
To the finals.
I started out as a Laker fan because of Magic. Then I graduated to the Bulls, and then when I moved to San Antonio, I became a Spurs fan. After.
When I was a kid, I pulled for the 76ers because of Dr. J. And then, of course, I'm a Carolina basketball fan, North Carolina.
Jordan.
So when Jordan got to the pros and he went to the Bulls, I started pulling for the Bulls. And that's where it went from that. And after he left, I just,
Did you watch that documentary on him?
What, The Last Dance?
Yeah.
More than once.
I sit there and watch that thing. It's like, how did I just spend 10 of my hours? Because it went like that.
Just like that. But
yeah, he's the greatest of all time, and there's no they talk about LeBron being a billionaire now, but Michael Jordan never lost the finals, and he never complained about the heat.
My UPS driver came up tonight. He was running late, and I always talk to him like that. He's a sports fan. He was talking about how much he's enjoying the podcast and all that. And
cool.
And we got to talking about the finals. I'd said I think Warriors going to win in 6. And
you think they're going to win the next 5, huh?
No, in 6
or
games.
4. You think they're going to win the next 4 straight?
No, it's 1-1 now.
I know. You said they're going to win in 5.
No, I said in 6.
Oh, in 6? They got to win the next 4 and they win.
Yeah. So I mean,
they ain't going to win the next 4 straight. Ain't no way.
No, that's what I'm saying. The Celtics can win 1 game because it's 1-1 right now.
Yeah, but you said they're winning 6. So if they play 4 more games, that's 6 games total.
They only have to win 3 more though to win.
Oh yeah, you're right.
1-1.
I was never good in math, so never mind. I'm doing the 4 + 2 = 6. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm an idiot. Yeah, don't ever ask me to do math stuff.
You're doing
That's that Cowboys math. That's that Jerry Jones math.
Yeah, you're doing that new math. But anyway, yeah. So he was talking about that too, about how LeBron he doesn't like LeBron. And LeBron,
I don't mind LeBron. I just don't think he's the greatest.
I don't.
And I think it's stupid to have that conversation because those Bulls teams were great. And I agree Phil Jackson was the greatest, but I think Pop's up there too. I don't know.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I love Pop as a coach and I love him as a person. I just think he's a great man and great courage. A lot of people don't like that, what he stands for, but I like Pop.
I like how he treated what's that guy, Ernie.
Yeah, he was real good to him. Ernie, the guy that passed away from ESPN.
The TNT guy that was on, that was always on the floor.
It's nice to know that you're as bad with names as I am, because I don't remember a name to save my life, bro.
I used to remember all of them. I'm getting old.
Yeah, I never have been able to.
So now, the main event, the movie focus. And of course, like we said, we're doing The Godfather. We're going to make you an offer you can't refuse. I'm telling you, bud, there's a lot. Watching that movie, listen to Marlon Brando, and I'm like, and reading the stuff about what he did during the
filming.
When he was filming and when he was doing the audition, he said he put cotton in his mouth and put, darken his hair so he would look like, and I'm like, that would explain the cheeks. But then they said he didn't have the cotton in his cheeks when he did the filming. So I'm like, okay. But The Godfather comes out.
Brando was a little eccentric. That's kind of being kind. He was a little out there. Hell of an actor, though. Hell of an actor.
Released in the United States, worldwide or nationwide on March.
What year?
March 24th, 1972. I wonder why he keeps bringing that
up.
up.
About a month before I was released into the world.
50th anniversary of The Godfather. So,
the greatest movie of all time.
The budget for this film was $7.2 million. anywhere from 6 to 7.2 is what they're saying. It took in at the box office almost $300 million, $291 million. So that's a pretty good return there.
You think?
Paid for some horse heads and stuff like that. Like I said, this was, I don't know. I've never got into the mob movies that much.
Oh my God, blasphemy.
Yeah, I know. I'm going to catch the devil for it because everybody else in the mama watches the mob movie. But I just never got into it. But, I sat down after you gave me the list, and I think we did that on a weekend when we got the list to each other. That Monday when I was off work, I said, I'm going to start watching this. And I watched it, and I had distractions, I'll put it that way at times. But then I sat down last week and watched it. And I was by myself and I sat there and watched. And, the second time it wasn't, it was good. It was really good. And I'll save that for the end. But it's the first of the trilogy directed by Francis Ford Coppola. It deals with the Corleone family from 1945 to 1955. Of course, Marlon Brando is Vito Corleone, and it focuses on the transformation of the youngest son, Michael, who was played by a young Al Pacino, from a reluctant family outsider to a ruthless mafia boss. Paramount obtained the rights to this because this was actually a book, and they
Mario
got the
Puzo
rights for $80,000.
Wow, that's it.
Yeah. So I mean, which was a lot at the time. And I know they were saying at the time, Coppola wanted certain people in that movie, and there was times when they were getting ready to say, no, you can't do this, and they were actually talking about Coppola not doing the movie, and it worked. It worked. But yeah.
He Mario Puzo and supposedly wrote the screenplay with
yeah.
And I think he got made more for the screenplay than he did for the actual book.
He probably
what
did.
It sounds like.
I'm sure. Yeah, they studio executives have trouble finding a director. The first few candidates turned down the position before Coppola signed on to direct the film, but disagreement followed over casting several characters, in particular Vito and Michael.
Yep.
Can you imagine? Those are the two most well-known characters in that movie. Can you imagine if they didn't have Al Pacino and Marlon Brando playing those two characters?
He was pretty set on Brando from the start, and I don't think they gave him as much grief over Brando as they did Al Pacino. There's a movie we talked about called The Offer. It's on Paramount Plus if you want to watch it, and it's goes about the Godfather and what they did to get it made. And it was just, I mean, those back then, try to picture 1970, 71. I mean, movies were bigger than they are probably now because everything was at the movies and not at home. So Paramount was making this, and they said that they got a lot of flack making it because it portrayed Italians in a bad light. But once money supposedly changed hand in donations, things changed, I guess. You know how that goes.
Yeah.
But they didn't, the studio executives, they were hard asses on. They wanted like Jack Nicholson to play Michael. I love Jack Nicholson, but I mean, anybody but Al Pacino, that would, because he fit the part, but they thought he was too short, and they just thought that he was just, and he knew it. He knew that they tried to fire him. I mean, Coppola was under the gun a lot too, and Michael, because you can about, but I think Coppola, they saved his job because Brando threatened to leave if they fired Coppola. Yeah. That's how much he endeared him to the cast, I guess.
Yeah, and we sit here and talk about it. I'm the same way as you. I can't see anybody else playing Michael or playing Vito but those two. But if we didn't know any different, if Jack Nicholson did play Michael, I mean, would it be the same? I don't know if it would be the same. I don't know if Nicholson's a great actor. He does a lot, one of my favorite movies is One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. Does a great job in that. That's a great movie if you haven't seen it. But yeah, I mean, it's easy to say, but a lot of Days of Thunder guy, Robert Duvall. That's what I was like. Hey, that's the Days of Thunder guy there. Robert Duvall's playing in here. And then of course, Adrian Balboa.
You think of Days of Thunder when you think
Robert
of the
Duvall.
great Robert Duvall.
Yeah.
Have you ever not seen Lonesome Dove?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I've seen that. But that's the first thing that popped in my mind when I saw it. Because I've seen Days of Thunder so many times.
I don't even remember Days of Thunder. I remember David Coverdale had a song on the soundtrack.
Harry Hyde, I think that was
Wow,
his name.
of all the movies, wow, Days of Thunder, really.
Tom Cruise, bud.
Yeah, but Robert Duvall has been in so many other great movies.
And
I just wouldn't think of, Nicole.
Nicole's in
But
it.
I don't even remember that movie. But I guess I've seen Duvall in so many other ones so many times. I guess.
Oh yeah, well she's been in a lot.
I don't even remember him being in that movie. Actually,
Yeah, he was a crew chief.
I don't even remember that. It's been so. I mean, that was 30 years ago, brother.
Well, this was
Godfather was only 50.
Godfather was 50. I'm going to say hello.
Yeah, but I've watched The Godfather a little bit more times than Days of Thunder.
Yeah, and I've watched Days of Thunder a little bit more than I've watched Godfather.
Probably.
So, but then you've got, of course, the great Talia Shire, Adrian Balboa. I mean, she's going to always be Adrian to me, and she's in here playing Connie, Vito's only daughter, and it starts out with Connie's wedding.
Yep.
And this was something I didn't realize. I was like, dang, the guy's back there, not even out there celebrating his daughter's wedding. But then you find out that the Don cannot turn down any requests at his daughter's wedding.
I don't think it's the Don. I think it's an Italian.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think it's the Italian can't turn down anybody's wedding.
Okay.
Because they're not going to come out and say, I'm a Don.
Yeah, well, maybe that's true. But he can't turn down any request at his daughter's wedding. So everybody's lining up to do that. And also, James Caan plays Sonny, the son. He's like the hothead that he just fired. He doesn't think. He just goes out and wants to get in the middle of something. And James Caan.
According to the offer, that was one Coppola settled on if they gave him Michael. They supposedly said, "Well, we'll give you Al Pacino, but you got to put James Caan in this." Which James Caan doesn't really necessarily look like Fredo or Michael. No. So but I mean, he's so good in it though. He
is.
You can overlook that.
But James Caan, I'll always remember him for that movie Brian song,
Misery.
Yeah, but an Elf.
Oh yeah. Elf's great. I like James Caan. He was also good in Eraser when he was a bad guy.
Yeah, what was that? Oh gosh, what was the name of that movie he was in with Adam Sandler and Damon Wayans? He was a bad guy in that movie too.
Adam Sandler and James Caan?
Yeah. Adam Sandler and Damon Wayans. Damon Wayans was a cop. He was
that was like almost like Midnight Run, but not Midnight Run. I know it. That was one of his first movies. That's probably why I didn't see it.
Yeah, it was all right.
He was good in Honeymoon in Vegas too. He was.
Yeah, he's good at that too.
He's been in a lot of good stuff.
So, there's I just wrote down stuff that was going on, and of course, all these guys coming back there. It leads off with a guy talking about his daughter got beat up.
The mortuary.
The Undertaker, not Mark Callis, but not
Paul Bearer.
No, not him, but yeah. So, and he fits in later on.
Yeah.
But just watching the wedding and everything that's going on backstage. Then, gosh, what was the guy's name? The other crime, was it Barzini that was Barzini that was out there in the crowd, and the guy took a picture of him, and he had a guy
camera down, yeah,
ripped the film out of the camera. I was like, holy crap! And
a lot of that went on in the movie. James Caan did that when they were out in the parking lot taking pictures.
Yeah, they were taking pictures out the parking lot when the FBI was out there checking the cars, the license plates of the cars, and he finishes off the camera. So,
yeah. But he lays some money down, being the good Samaritan that he is, he gives the guy money for his troubles,
Yeah, he does. But also Diane Keaton in this movie, which I did not really recognize her at first.
Really?
Yeah, because I've never seen really a movie with Diane Keaton when she was young. But after I knew who she was, I could tell it was her.
You're not a big Annie Hall fan?
No, I'm not a big Woody Allen fan. But anyway, none of his movies or him either. But anyway, it takes a different person, I guess.
Al Pacino and her were dating at the time.
Oh, really?
In real life, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. The wedding is pretty cool because you have a cast of characters there, and you have Michael and her there talking, and
oh yeah,
she talks about the Michael. There's a man over there talking to himself, and it's I forget his name. He's a mobster.
Oh gosh, because he's trying to figure out what he's doing, what he's going to say when he goes in there to Vito.
Yeah, in The Offer, Lou Ferrigno plays him. He's Lou Ferrigno plays him, and they cast him in that role after the movie started.
Right.
And I think it was kind of but that guy was he was a pro wrestler, and that dude was a big dude.
But
he didn't know his lines, but
So then the singer, Johnny Fontaine,
Michael,
AKA who?
You don't know who that's about?
No.
That's Frank Sinatra, brother.
Oh, really?
That character is based on Frank Sinatra, and there's a part in the Offer where Sinatra. I don't know how much The Offer is true, but this is from the director, the guy that was over Coppola's point of view. It was written about. It was inspired by Frank Sinatra, and Frank Sinatra got so pissed that he wasn't offered to be in it, that the mob was saying, "Well, we want him to play Michael."
Oh wow!
And the studio was like, but the mob had such a problem with how Johnny Fontaine was produced. That's why his roles he's not in it very much.
Yeah.
And that was almost a gift. That was like, can you just? And he goes, well, I can make his role minimum, and that's why he's not in it as much as he was originally. Like in the book, I guess he's really portrayed a lot, but in the movie not so much, because like I said, according to The Offer, they made that happen to appease the mob.
Well, they made him look a lot like a wuss. He goes to Vito and talks about, and Michael is explaining to Kay that he's a family friend, and his dad helped him with his recording deal, and you hear the first time he made him an offer he can't refuse, and he told him it was either his name on the contract or blood on the contract. So, and then now Johnny Fontaine wants a movie deal. He wants to be in a movie, and this guy that's producing it or directing it will not put him in it. And he asked for a favor from Vito, and Vito sends
Tom
Hagen, who is the consular lawyer, an unofficial adopted member of the Corleone family. He sends him to California to talk to the guy, and the guy is like real defiant. Real defiant, which is a mistake. You got the freaking mob after you, telling you to do this, and you're gonna sit there and talk trash.
That's one part of the movie I didn't understand. At first, he was like, "Well, piss off."
Yeah.
Then he found out who was requesting this, and then he started kissing Tom's butt.
But then
all of a sudden he gets all hot-headed and he kicks him out.
Happy again.
Yeah. And it's like, I think I would have done you were right the first way.
Yeah. Then that was one of the most iconic parts of any movie in there that you hear a lot about. People over the years, you've seen it spoofed in a lot of stuff. I know Family Guy did it one time. But his prize horse that he was going to send to Stud, he's laying in the bed, and all of a sudden he looks and he's got blood on his hands, and he takes the covers back. There's a freaking horse head that horse's head is in his bed. Here's my question though, and I know everybody be like, "Oh, you're nitpicking. It's the movies. Let it go. How the freaking heck did they get in there with a freaking horse head and put it under the covers with him without him waking up. Tell me that. Was the
Yeah,
guy so drunk?
he must have been a heavy sleeper. That's all I got to say.
He might have been drunk or something.
There's been rumors for years that it's a real horse head, and in the offer they portray it as they got it from a butcher. I guess they used to butcher horses for dog food, I guess, back in the day.
I did read that it was from a butcher.
None of the props were like authentic enough looking, but that they did. Yeah.
Good Lord. I can't imagine. You can imagine waking up with any kind of head in your bed, but a horse head in your bed? Yeah.
Yeah.
Nah, that's okay. So I guess he ends up gets the deal. Johnny Fontaine gets the deal. But
and the man probably gets another horse, so everybody,
probably got another horse. He did, Fredo, yeah. And at first in the movie I wrote down, is he all there? Is he like the kind of off? You always have the little off sidekick that's always not the smartest thing in the world, but he doesn't look like he's all there.
No, he's protected a lot, I think. Like you saw him when we talk about what happens later to Brando, how he reacted. And yeah, he's just probably an embarrassment, I guess. And he's the second oldest behind Sonny, I believe. And yeah, Sonny pretty much runs the show. Yeah. Fredo got all the good parts of it. He just didn't ever had to be strong. It's probably, just part of his environment. He was just raised kind of soft, and probably, just, didn't have to like the other guys. I mean, all three sons are totally different,
Oh yeah, like, definitely. Sonny's a hothead.
Yeah.
Mike was kind of the level-headed guy. And then Fredo is just, every time I hear his name though, you know who I think about? Think about what's the guy's name in Lord of the Rings?
I've never seen Lord of the Rings.
I have never seen it before. I think Frodo or something like that.
I know what you're talking about.
That's what every time I heard him call his name, I said, "Is this Lord of the Rings or the Godfather?"
Yeah, that guy that was his name. I don't forget what his name was, but he died real young. But within the span of like the years of his career, he was in like 4 Academy Awards, like The Godfather 1 and 2. He was in that Al Pacino movie where he Dog Day Afternoon. Like he had a short career, but man, he was in a lot of like monster movies. He was actually,
Dolly.
He died in his, I think 38, 39. He was engaged or he was dating Meryl Streep at the time. So yeah, he's a great actor, man, because that character, man. Yeah. He's not all there. He's probably the baby of the family, the one they picked on, what they call it back in the old days before it was politically correct, the runt of the litter.
Yeah, he died at the age of 42 from
cancer,
lung cancer, shortly after completing his role in The Deer Hunter.
Yeah, wow. Deer Hunter, Dog Day Afternoon, and Godfather 1 and 2. That's hell of a resume.
Yeah, and he was, like you said, he was dating Meryl Streep at the time of his death. So yeah, I noticed that. So then this other guy, Sollozzo, comes to the family about narcotics, getting in the narcotics business, and they pretty much turn him down, and I guess it ticks him off. He starts putting wheels in motion to get back at him, kidnaps Hagen, shoots down Vito in the streets while Vito's getting fruit, and
Fredo freaks out.
Fredo's just sitting there like, yeah. And I'm like, that's freaking your dad's getting there and shot.
No cell phones in 1945,
Yeah, but still, he didn't even go over there to him. He just sat there and cried on the end of the car, and I was like,
yeah, I noticed that when they did that scene, they did that scene. That was when the word got around, and Michael didn't even know, and him and Kay were out, shopping. And like she shows him the newspaper.
Yeah.
I mean, can you imagine? I mean, I think we remember a time, but most people younger than 50 can't remember a time when news didn't travel. I mean, this is portrayed in 1945. So it happened. They printed a paper. There used to be, that's what got me, is that there used to be like somebody younger watching this were like, well, why didn't they just, well, they didn't have cell phones or anything like that.
Yeah,
But they used to have news happen so much. They'd have a morning edition and an evening edition of papers.
that's right. Yeah.
And it's like, think how much time travel, how much news travels now compared to like back then. I mean, even back in, 30 years ago, before cell phones, we had pagers, that had I got the news feed on this. Great.
Yeah. And he sees that, calls home and talks to Sonny. Sonny tells him that it doesn't look good. And he needs to come home. So Hagen gets let go, and they tell him to convince the family to reconsider. Of course, Vito is in the hospital. He's in bad shape. They don't know if he's going to make it or not. But one of the, what was it? What's the guy's name? Brasi? Was that his name? The guy that was sent to talk to Salazzo and them, and he gets choked out. And
the guy that was the wrestler. Yeah.
Yeah.
The one that was talking to himself.
They sent his bulletproof vest with a fish wrapped in it to say he's swimming with the fishies now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that just sets off Sonny. But there's a
how wasn't it Fish who said that?
Ava Goda, yeah.
Yeah, wasn't he the one that said that? Fish talked about I noticed that when I was watching that. You guys doing with
I kept waiting for the Barney Miller stuff.
But kind of talking about that is when Michael starts taking an interest in his dad, and he goes to the hospital.
Yeah.
And they're supposed to have armed police guards, but they don't. Or they're not armed guards. They were like armed. The police chief ran them off.
Yeah, he's on the payroll for Salazzo and that all those guys.
And so he goes out there with who's the guy that comes to visit the Godfather?
Baker.
The Baker. That's right.
Yeah.
It was out there, and they had to act like the muscle. They had to bluff their whole way through it, or they would have killed Brando right there.
Yeah, you saw the Baker after when he got the cigarette, where
probably pissed his pants.
Yeah, his hands are shaking. He can't even hardly get the cigarette up to his mouth. But
yeah, I think like I said, I quit smoking 10 years ago. I think I would be doing a cigarette too if I just defended a mob boss against a bunch of hitchmen. I think you would do a cigarette.
Yeah, and you start to slowly see Michael getting reeled in.
Yeah,
he's getting reeled into where he's like taking more of interest in the family business. Like you said, he goes to his dad. He when he puts his dad in the other hospital room, he said, I think this is the turning point for him in the movie.
I'm with you, Pop.
I'm with you, Pop.
Yeah,
I'm with you.
And you see the tear going down Brando's.
Yeah,
because I think that Brando even tells him, I never wanted this for you. I mean, what that's always the kind of the thing you don't want. You want a better life for your kid.
Yeah,
he was like a war hero. You know.
But I wrote down here, just looking, I was like, man, Pacino is young in this movie. He was 32 at the time, but he looks younger than that.
Younger than that, yeah.
I was like, holy crap. But so Michael ends up going to, I guess, gets in a confrontation with the cops about the cops being taken, the guards being taken away from his dad's room, and McCluskey ends up hitting Michael, breaks his jaw. And like you said, like we talked about, Sonny is such a hothead. Sonny's just ready to go shoot up everybody and then get it over with. And then that's another part of the movie where you see Michael is starting to take control. He's like, okay, we're going to do it this way, and ends up scheduling a meeting with Salazzo and McCluskey, and they pick the restaurant. But Ava Goda sets it up where he's got He's got a gun hidden in the bathroom, which I thought was cool. It was so cool when
That wasn't Abe Lagoto. That was, I forget his name.
Oh, it wasn't him. He was.
No, he
okay.
was. He may have set up the meeting, but it was.
He set up the meeting. I think that's what it was.
I forget the guy's name. Leave the gun. Bring the cannoli guy. What's his name?
Oh yeah, gosh, what's his name? He's been in some movies too.
Yeah.
Gosh, what is his name?
They talk in the offer that when they put that gun there in the bathroom shooting that scene, that Coppola had them put it something else because it could make Pacino like really kind of like,
yeah, he did. You saw it.
Yeah,
too.
like he was like really looking for it, like he was nervous.
At first,
they didn't put it where they told him it would be. They did it somewhere else.
Yeah,
and that's what made it more authentic.
At first, I thought this was going to be bad because I've never seen it before, and I was like, oh, they forgot. They didn't get
because they were when he told Sonny laughed at him. Sonny goes, "What, you?" I mean, they were all kind of laughing at him. Said he'd do it, but he had the good idea. I mean, that you talk about the scene with Brando, but after this scene, there ain't no turning back after this.
Yeah, and then so he shoots the police chief, Enchilado, kills him, and he has to go to Sicily to get out of because killing a police chief, he was a marked man.
Yeah.
So now you got a whole different thing. The sister, Talia Shire, Connie, get beat by her husband, Carlo, yeah. And Sonny goes over and finds him in the street and just whips him in front of everybody. I mean, whips him down. And
on the offer, supposedly, this is according to the offer. This isn't me saying this. Supposedly they were acting and he hit her. This is how it's portrayed in the offer.
Ooh.
He hit her, so that beating there where he beats Carlo up with the water,
real.
that was a lot of that was not, it wasn't like fake wrestling, you get hurt.
Yeah.
But she confronted him after that. It's like, well, just don't hit me again. And he was like, he didn't care about her. It's like, man, James Caan just kicked my ass. Like he had no clue. And I kind of noticed, I don't know if that happened or not, because a lot of people discount what the offer's about. But if you like The Godfather, you'll like The Offer.
I'll have to check that out. It could have been worse. You could have had Rocky Balboa come out there and beat up on some.
Adrian, I did it.
I did it. So that's gonna, this whole incident is gonna be a key moment in a scene to come. Michael goes over and to Sicily, wastes no time, and he ends up finding a woman over there and courts her with her dad and all this stuff and gives her a gift. And then next thing you know, they're married. And I'm like, wow.
What was her name? Apollina? Or
is this Purple Rain?
What was her name? Like I said, I'm so bad with names, but she was hot.
Yeah, she was. And so he really forgot about Kay. I guess he's just like, I'm never coming back. I probably won't come back for a while. I'm going to enjoy it while I'm over here. So then Carlo never learns, but we find out it's a setup. He goes off on Connie again.
Why she's pregnant.
Yeah. And Connie calls home and her mom's on the phone with her. I think it was her mom. She said, I can't hear you. The baby's crying. So Sonny gets on the phone with all people. He said, Dad, shut up. He ends up taking off. And, you see the cars going by. They're a little bit behind, but they're not. They should have been that far behind unless he was just flying. He gets to a toll booth, and it's a setup. The guy takes a change, and all of a sudden you see the guy at the toll booth duck down, and you see these other guys come up with machine guns. And this time, where they didn't shoot Vito as much, Vito survives. This time they make sure that Sonny does not survive. They shoot him. I mean, I don't know how he got as far as he did.
They got that payment though before they shot him, didn't they? The state got the money.
They
got the toll money. Yeah,
the toll was really, he got paid. But they after he hits the ground, they shoot him some more. They even kick him to make sure he's dead. So
yeah, they did a number on him, man.
yeah, and then of course they don't want to tell Vito about it. Hagen ends up having to tell him because Vito finds out. He said, "There's been a lot of people coming up to the house. I hear my wife crying," and they tell him
what's going on. Yeah.
Vito pretty much decides then he wants to meet with the 5 families and he wants to, just pretty much call a truce. And he's saying, I'm not going to get revenge for my son's death. We need to call a truce for this whole thing. And, he talks about Michael coming back. He wants him to be able to come back and not have to worry about. He said, if anything does happen to Michael when he comes back, pretty much saying the truce is off. It's going to be.
So what happens in Sicily?
Michael's sitting there getting ready to I think he's going to, his wife's going to
teach her how to drive the car.
Yeah. She's going to go to her parents.
He married her and everything. He courted her, married her. They got married. He's teaching her how to drive.
Yeah. And she's in the car and he looks at one of the, I guess,
bodyguards. One of the bodyguards. Turned on him.
He pretty much betrays him, and he's like,
he sees him running away.
Yeah,
and he puts it together. That's a car bomb.
And as soon as, why is it in every movie? Whenever you yell no, that's when the car blows up. It's like the car's okay. It's set to no. You yell no, and they blow. Boom. So she's gone.
It was just a future episode of Knight Rider. Kit, no.
So he comes back. And he finds Kay, and he wants to marry her. He told her he'd been back for a year.
He hadn't been though, right?
No, I mean, unless they really did one of those soap opera time warps with the kids, where the kids go to boarding school when they're like 7 and they come back. Like,
and she just gets in the car with him. Could be dating some dude now, but hey, this is This
is it. But and you look, and Michael is now pretty much become head of the family. Vito is like offering his assistance and his expertise to Michael, but he tells, because there's a couple of them, Abe Vigoda and the other guy we're talking about, I can't remember his name. They want to branch off and have their own family, and I think.
But you don't want to let them.
Yeah,
because they're going to be moving to Reno.
Yep, they go out looking at the casino. Buying out that casino where Fredo is, and
the great Mo Green.
Yeah, Mo Green. But
Fredo has this big party set up with a bunch of hot chicks, booze, and Michael just spoils the party. Like, nah. Now, if I was Scarface, I may, if I was, what's his name in Scarface, he may partake, but he was all business here. Michael's all business, and he was almost like he was likable as before, but he becomes so cold now.
Yeah,
he can't even.
And he pretty much tells Fredo that, don't ever, because Fredo kind of takes the side of Mo Green.
Yeah, because Mo Green's kind of like, you're putting your hands on my brother. That's going to stop, and I'm going to buy your business. And Mo Green's like, well, who the hell do you think you are? So that's when Fredo's a kiss ass.
Yeah.
So he's enjoying banging the cocktail waitresses. Who wouldn't? I'd rather have that than a mob. And yeah, Fredo, you're my brother, and I love you, but never. I'm the boss. I mean, you can tell that's changed.
Yeah, he is definitely full-fledged now.
That killing. I mean, killing those two and losing his life, probably the love of his life. He never treated Kay the same, but I mean, he treated it what's her name, and that probably killed something in Michael that, now he's just balls out.
Yeah, so they take care of Mo Green.
Well, not yet.
Eventually, but we'll get to that. So then you go to Michael's son. Evidently, they had a big gap because Michael's got a son that's like, how old does that kid look to you? Just playing with.
Yeah.
He's like 2 or 3 years old at least.
I think they explain in the Godfather 3 what happened to him, but you gotta, that was actually, the girl was actually Francis Ford Coppola's daughter, and the son was Thalia Shire's kid. That's what I read somewhere.
Was that the Schwartzman kid?
Maybe, I don't know.
It may have been him. That may be. Hold on a second.
No, that's not him because he's only 41. Can't be him.
He was born. He'd be pretty impressive if he played.
I think it's her. I think it's her. I know it's for sure. I know it's for sure. Yeah.
Robert. Let's see if that's him. No, Robert is 39. I didn't realize really, and I'd heard it and it refreshed my memory that Nicolas Cage is her nephew.
Really?
Yeah. Yep. Nicolas Cage is Thalia Shire's nephew. I'm looking at it right here. I wonder if because his real name is Nicholas Kim Coppola, known professionally as Nicolas Cage. So that's probably why he got all those movies too. But anyway, so Vito's playing with Michael's son out in the garden, and he's having a good time and all that. And I guess Michael's son thinks he's playing with him when he takes out the little spray thing and he sprays at him, and they're having a good time. He run around. All of a sudden, Vito
puts the mask. He puts the teeth in or whatever. Right?
Yeah, he puts the teeth in to scare him, and then he collapses. And I guess it ended up being a heart attack, and he dies. So while they're at the funeral, yeah, and Vito has told Michael that whoever tries to set up this meeting with is going to be the traitor.
And your boy Fish,
Abe Vigoda, ends up being the traitor.
Yep.
And I'm like, holy crap! So they get him.
And all the crap that he went through with them.
Yeah.
But it was a bit, you see a lot of people were involved, and Michael starts putting together who's involved and how they're kissing his ass.
Yep.
So yeah.
So he ends up taking him out, and then
he ends up. There's a baptism. The baptism for actually before that, the baptism when he's confessing, he doesn't like Satan and he likes Jesus. They go on a little rant and they pretty much kill all the people they consider traitors.
Take out all the heads of the families, don't they?
Yep. And Mo Green.
He gets taken out.
And then he gives Carlo a chance to come clean. And like a dumbass, Carlo admits it, that he was involved with it. And then he goes out, and then Thalia Shire is like, you killed him. And Kay sees that, and she asked Michael, like, is this true? And Kay, I don't talk about my business. But you can this one time. And what does he do? He lies to her.
Yep.
And she stays with him.
She's still there, and she sees it. And the big thing at the end of the movie is when they're in the office and the guys get ready to close the door, and they're like bowing down to
kissing his ass,
kissing him. But I will tell you this: the second time I watched it, it was better than the first time. And of course, like I said, I had things going on, but I watched it by myself. It was better the second time. Would I sit down and watch it again? I would probably sit down and watch it again. And do I want to see what happens the rest of the way to trilogy? Yeah.
I don't. Before you watch it again, now it's in your mind, you got to watch part 2.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I definitely want to see what happens next.
Because I think you cheated me on this episode, Stevie.
How did I?
Because I told you that I was cheating when I picked my list, because 1 and 2 combined are my favorites. So your assignment, so you choose to accept this. No. Yeah, 1 and there's a release out there that HBO did a few years ago. I actually have a Blu-ray copy of it. It's the 1 and 2 combined, because 2 shows a story about how Vito came up and everything.
Right.
So it puts it in order to where it makes more sense.
Okay.
So 2 is great. I may actually prefer 2 a little bit more. So, but I would highly recommend 2. 3, I'm going to watch again, but I didn't think it was that bad. A lot of the people weren't in it. It was just pretty much, Thalia and Pacino. They didn't have James. They didn't have, well, of course, not James Caan. They didn't have.
That would be
Yeah,
kind of
he came back as a Walking Dead walker. Yeah.
But
yeah, I want to know. Okay, when we first met, you've never seen it. I
No.
told you. You hear Tom and Zeus talk about it.
Yeah.
You hear all these people talk about how it's the greatest movie of all time. You may not agree with that because I don't think you grew up with it, probably like we did. I mean, I didn't see it till I honestly I didn't see it till I kind of came of age when I was about 20 when I was working at Blockbuster, and there was this chick I wanted to impress, and she goes, "You got to watch The Godfather." It's like, let's watch it together. So I mean, and I was hooked when I watched it. I was hooked, man.
Yeah.
I even rewound the tape. I was in such a good mood.
Be kind. Rewind.
Yeah.
I watched 25 cents.
No, it was $2.50, bro. In the
What?
early 90s? Yeah, it was, yeah.
When we started out going, it was 25 cents if you didn't rewind it. I'll tell you.
I never charged anybody. That's probably why they went bankrupt.
Yeah, Worden is responsible for Blockbuster not out of business. I'll tell you what I did though, and I got by with it. And this statute of limitations is gone now. The tape, which I'm sure it happened a lot. That the tape broke. One of the tapes I had broke in my.
That happened
VCR.
a lot of times.
Well, we put it back together
especially on the part where the nudity happened, and you have that little pause button on your little 15-year-old VCR.
53 minutes and 20 seconds of
I gotta
Ridgemont High.
I gotta tell you a funny story about that. I had a friend of mine that we were at Blockbuster one time, and they had that book open. I guess it was like before, like, of course, internet and stuff. It would tell like what actresses were in or what actors were in what movies and stuff. It was like, I guess, a bibliography or.
Yeah.
And I had a friend of mine looking it up, and they're all girls, and it tell you the rating and what it had in it, and it was like almost and I was like, dude, you're a pervert. But he was like, I think it was the girl who was what was that show, Life Goes On, the older sister, I guess he was looking her up. And my other buddy was like, man, you're a pervert. But you think about it now, who does that now? Mr. Skin.
That's
Mr.
what
Skin has this database where and it's from probably a Generation X like me, like us, that grew up with that stuff. Like, I want to see, is she naked in this movie?
What was that? That movie Knocked Up, Seth Rogen was in. Wasn't he like supposed to be one of the
yeah.
The
and
guys
they said they had it already. And she busted Catherine Hagel said, no, there's already, you mean Mr. Skin? Like, what? And they looked it up. Oh my God. They were all disappointed. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, but I guess my buddy could have been Mr. Skin,
Could have been.
Yeah.
Could have been. But yeah, I'll be interested to see number 2 when the time comes around. And I'll probably watch it before that time comes around when you did. So we'll have
Coppola is supposedly in the second one. I kind of read up on the offer, and it's supposedly told from the producer side of it, but according to Coppola, that guy was never there. So he made sure the first one was such a hit, he had carte blanche on the next 2. He had, I think the third one he was pressured into making, but the second one, he was not getting fired, nothing like that. It was he aced the producer and the owner of Paramount out on it. So yeah, you make that much money, I guess you're able to do what you want.
So
biggest movie of 1972 too.
So I'm reading a little bit on part 2. It came out 2 years later, 74. Yep. Okay.
Yeah, I would. I think these 2 are great, but I like the mob stuff. I like to watch documentaries on the mob. I don't want to be in the mob. I'm afraid of the mob. I just want that, right now. I respect whatever, I just want that put out there now. I'm not like Sam Hurd,
Yeah. Yeah.
went from player to like drug dealer.
I'm looking at who's in the Bruno Kirby is in the second one. You remember Bruno Kirby, don't you?
Who's he?
Bruno Kirby played on one of the ones he's known for, the Good Morning Vietnam. He was the guy that was in charge of the radio station that kept giving Robin Williams crap.
Another movie I haven't seen since it was out.
Anyway, he died young. Let me see what else he's been in. City Slickers.
Oh yeah.
When Harry met
I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
He's
the he died young too.
Yeah,
he was in City Slickers. Yeah, Robert Duvall plays Vito young, growing up, and they're part of the mob together, like when they started out the Corleone, like how they start out.
Peter Clemenza is his name in this one.
Yeah.
Danny Aiello is in this one.
Yeah.
Wait a minute, Abe Vigoda's in this one?
Well, you got to see it, dude. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to spoil it. I'm not going to spoil it for you.
Troy Donahue.
James Caan is in it too. I'll leave it at that. Yeah, you got to watch it, man.
So it's got to be flashbacks then. Troy Donahue. Oh, every time I hear his name, I think about Grease. As for you, Troy Donahue.
For the longest time, I thought that was Phil Donahue she was talking about.
Yeah, I can see.
I mean, I was 6 when it came out, okay?
Them will feel
the only thing I knew for sure is that Olivia Newton-John was a hottie.
Yes.
And I actually went with some friends probably before COVID to see her a few years ago. And you know who she had playing with her in her band?
You told me one time, was it a guy from Trickster?
No, Danger.
Danger, same thing.
It's like Andy Timmons. Andy Timmons, I think. And I looked him up. Of course, you have your phone with you. You look it up. Like, oh, dude. And I knew the name. Like, I had a friend of mine when we used to go to this club back in the day. He had long hair and stuff. And some girl walked up to him. Hey, are you the guy in Danger? He goes, yeah. And he just walked off. I'm like, dude, you could have hooked up. You should have used that.
That's like the... Oh gosh, Creatures Fest happened, and what was it? The Bruce Kulick band, or is it Todd Kearns? Todd Kearns is in that, and then Zach Throne is in it. He's a bass player. He does all the Gene parts when they sing Gene song. Zach Throne was in that TV show The Heights. How do you talk to an angel? He was one of the main characters in that, because the guy I interviewed, Barry Coffin, who did the music, who wrote How Do You Talk to an Angel, and did the music for The Heights and California Dreams and some other stuff too. A lot of other stuff. Just a great guy.
I remember when that music was that time was out, I was like not going to accept grunge. I was like, no. So rock was pretty much dead. So I started listening to like a lot of pop. I listened to like Rod Stewart and Mariah. I mean, I was like all Mr. Pop. And I think when I heard, what got me out of that, when I heard Antichrist Superstar, and it just like, okay, this guy's got it right. That totally changed, but took me back in the rock track.
During that time, I was country, and I was
country too, yeah.
Old school. I was classic stuff then, because there was some grunge that was okay, but
Alice in Chains, Soundgarden.
Yeah, some of it was okay, but I just didn't get into it. I didn't want to be depressed after I listened.
Yeah, that's true. Now I listen to it and I'm like, God, I was a stuck-up jerk, man. Some of this stuff's great that I didn't like back then. Like, I can listen to Nirvana now because I don't hear them all the time. It's kind of like Zeppelin. For the longest time, I couldn't listen to Zeppelin because they played that so much on the radio. And that's why I guess I never got tired of Kiss, is because they don't play them on the radio. They play rock and roll all night and Heaven's on Fire and Lick It Up, maybe.
Maybe. So,
what do you think of Godfather overall?
Overall, I thought it was a good movie. Do I think it's the greatest movie? No, I don't think it's great. It would be.
You can be wrong,
Yes, I can be wrong. I can be wrong, and it's like I said. But you're not going to boycott me because I don't agree with you, though, are you?
Actually, Stevie, I have something to tell you. I'm just kidding. This will be my last podcast.
This will be the last time Warden's on the fly.
I only came on here to do The Godfather, then I'm done.
But yeah, I mean, would I watch it again? Yeah, I'd probably watch it again if it was on and I was like, okay, I'll watch it again. And I will watch the rest of the trilogy. I do want to see that offer too. I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, there's 2 episodes left because somebody, and it pisses me off, is I have to wait. So I do this thing now. I wait for a series to finish streaming, then I can binge it. Like, it's like when Netflix started like, oh, we're going to release the first half now and the second half in a few months. No, just release it now. I mean, they're prolonging they did that with Ozark.
They did doing it with Stranger Things. So I just binge watched the first half.
I gotta watch that. I gotta watch Stranger Things.
All I can say is, those Duffer Brother guys, they've got some freaked up minds, but they put on a good show. They know how to tell a story. And
it's funny to see the kids now, because I saw what's her name, 11.
Yeah,
I saw her and I was like, who is that? I didn't recognize her because it's like 5 years to a kid. It's just like, yeah, and she's dating like what's his name's
John Bon Jovi's son, who looks just like him when he was back in the day.
No, he's almost prettier than she is.
Maybe he'll do 7800 Fahrenheit Part 2.
Is he a musician?
I don't know. I don't know much about him. I know when I saw the name, because he doesn't have, he's known as
the real name.
B-O-N-G. Yeah, he goes by his real name. And I was like, there's not too many people that got that name. There's got to be some kin to him. And yeah, that's when I found out that was his son. But yeah, that Stranger Things, if you haven't watched it out there, you need to watch it. It's
my kind of thoughts on Godfather is that it, along with 1 and 2, they're probably my favorite. I think 2 maybe a little bit more than 1. If I had to pick, I would put 2 above 1. That's me. So I mean, it's a lost kind of art of how filmmaking is done. There's no CGI to it. There's no.
It's just a basic movie.
But I like the CGI stuff. Don't get me wrong. The new Jurassic Park looks awesome, right? But it's like, that's why I think Top Gun's such a hit, because there's no, people are kind of hungry for just a good movie. With the effects get so much, like I saw like 2 Transformer movies, and if Megan Fox isn't going to be in them, I don't care to watch the rest of them. But no, there's almost too much CGI to where
you can overdo it.
Yeah, and this doesn't. And this is, I like when I read books, I like autobiographies or biographies about somebody's life. This is, Mario Puzo invented there was no Godfather. That was his term. It wasn't what they were called. But now they say that every Godfather, every mob, the mob like walked out of it saying, this is so authentic, it's crazy. And it's like, and everything after that kind of started. You had, Goodfellas, you had The Sopranos, they all referenced the Godfather. So
Well, that started it all.
Yeah.
But
The Untouchables, you kind of watch that now, it looks a little dated, especially with the gangsters wearing Armani suits, it was the 80s. So, but
I'm surprised.
Still a good story.
So I'm surprised nobody said that typecast mobsters. No.
Oh, they did. They had a league.
Oh yeah, you told me about it.
Yeah, they had that, and they did it. But
I'm talking about now.
They were pissed about the book. He got threats. Puzo got threats and everything, and they had to pretty much. I don't know for sure, but the way it's on the offer, it seems like a lot of people were paid. A lot of things were done, to appease the mob, because the mob, back then owned the unions and all that stuff. So they could stop a movie in its tracks. And when they threatened to fire a couple guys, the mob was going to shut it down.
He did I'm looking at, what was that? He did a mini series.
Who are we talking about?
Puzo. He did a mini series on one of his books. Screenplays. The Superman movies.
Yeah. Why do you think that Marlon Brando was in it?
Oh. Anyway. Yeah.
Marlon Brando, that kind of jumped out his career, because he did that, and he did what Tango in Paris or whatever. He won the Oscar for Godfather, but he didn't show up because he was protesting how they treated
Turned it
Native
down.
Americans.
Yeah, he turned it down.
Which I think, that's the best type to do your cause is when you find something wrong. That's a great way to do it.
Exactly. You can get up there and stay.
Well, he wasn't up there. He sent a Native American. Oh, speaking of which, did you see that trailer I sent you for the new Prey movie?
I have not watched it yet. I have to check it out.
It's the new Predator movie.
Are you serious?
Yes. It looks awesome.
I will tell you this. Predator, the first one.
It's great.
Great. Second one. We went.
I walked out of it.
This was my senior year in high school, and every Sunday there was a group of us that went to the movies. No matter what was playing, we went and we picked. There was a little small movie theater, had 2 movies usually playing, so we picked one. Predator 2 was the better choice. I forgot what the other choice was. My gosh, Danny Glover and Gary Busey. This ain't Lethal Weapon by far. That was an awful sequel. Awful sequel.
I thought the ones they did later on with Adrian Brody were pretty good.
See, I've watched some of
that
them.
One was okay. It came about 12 years ago.
But
that one was good. I'm not a big Alien fan. Like in those movies, you've seen one, you've seen them all, and this alien goes in a ship and kills people. I mean Predator. I like Predator though for some reason.
Or Jason Goes to Space.
I used to watch those as a kid, but the only reason I watched those Friday the 13th movie, boobs. I didn't care for the killing. I like the boobs because people always got busy right before Jason killed them.
Oh yeah, definitely. If there was a scene like that in the movie, they were getting ready to die.
I think the last one I saw was when the girl is like, her dad died or something was coming back and she's in the lake and something's happening. So she calls Jason up from the thing and he comes out of it. He wasn't in the whole damn movie, just in the ending. I was pissed. Like, I want to see Jason.
I went to the theater one time to see a Friday the 13th movie. And a girl I was dating, which one was it? Had to be in like 94, 95, somewhere around that range.
God, you lasted longer than I did. I quit seeing them in the 80s.
Well, it wasn't really my choice to go see it. I mean, she wanted to see it. And I got, before it was over, before it started, I was sick on my stomach. And there was a part in the movie where this particular one, where the guy's face melted he was trying to get up, and his face was just going like stretching out, and it was like, I was like, okay, got to go to the bathroom. I went in there and puked my guts out.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't just because of that. That didn't help matters, but I was already feeling it before that.
Bad popcorn or something?
No, I mean, it was that day, before the movies, before I came to her house, I was like, I wasn't feeling right, but I walked out of the.
I take it you didn't marry this woman.
No.
Okay.
And that's another story for another time. But
I didn't marry the girl from The Godfather either, but my movie experience is a little bit better than yours, I guess. I didn't throw up.
Yeah.
What I have that same thing is like when I watch a movie, like I was watching Giant with Rock Hudson and stuff, and they're about to kill anytime they kill an animal, I can't watch it.
Yeah.
They can kill, they can slaughter, like Sonny the Toll Booth, and I'm fine.
Yeah, 30 or 40. Rambo can kill.
Like when I see even I know even though I know it's portrayed, it's not real. I have a real problem when they kill an animal.
I do too.
Especially a dog or a horse.
A dog for me is don't want to see it.
And it's funny. I wasn't like that until, I had dogs as a kid, but I didn't really get a dog till my last dog till probably about 12 years ago. I told you that story, how she was older and my buddy, she's 4 or 5 and shouldn't have been 13.
Yeah.
But man, it changes you. I mean, I guess
Oh,
I mean, I can only imagine being a parent.
Yeah, it's something. It's something.
We're here there talking about the gory Godfather, and we're talking about crying over dogs. Boy, we're oh, also, I don't know if I told you that, but in The Godfather, the opening scene shows Brando petting a cat. That was a stray cat that came up to him in the movie. It was a cat that it was just in the lot.
So he just
picked
the cat up.
Cat's a pretty good judge of character most of the time, or animals in general. So I guess, yeah. Brando only got $1 million, and he's not in the second one. So
I'll have to check it out.
Yeah, watch the second one. And the third one, there's a Coppola. There's an original one that came out, and there's a Coppola mix that he did like last year.
Mm-hmm.
And his daughter Sophia plays Michael's daughter in the movie, and they gave her so much grief over that role. I guess because his own daughter, she's not that bad in the movie. I didn't think she was bad at all. I mean, it's about, and of course it's Pacino and Diane Keaton, and George Hamilton's in it too, if that makes sense. Andy Garcia's in it. Andy Garcia's like one of Sonny. Andy Garcia is one of Sonny's sons. Andy Garcia's son looks more Italian than Sonny did. Oh, you didn't talk about the part where Sonny gets busy with one of the bridesmaids in the movie. Yeah.
You're right there in the bathroom, and then the guy comes up to the door. Sonny.
That was Tom. Yeah.
God.
Yeah.
And then he goes right back to it. He said, your dad wants to see you. And then all of a sudden he said, okay.
See how much trouble we got in before we had phones?
Yeah.
We had to do that kind of stuff. And, now we have phones. We can just, look at pictures, and look the internet. We don't cheat on our wives,
So next week we will be doing an album review. And
it's going to be a good one.
It's going to be a good one. It's going to be one we talked about on the show before. And we won't let the cat out of the bag right now. But
and it's nothing the cat dragged in either, so don't get any ideas.
Hey, the stadium tour is about to start up. My nephew was talking about it the other night. I was telling him.
Is he going? Is it coming by your area?
The closest is coming to Charlotte, and he's going to Charlotte. That's about a good 4 hours away. So he's going, and I was like, Motley Crue's got meet and greets offers, only $3,500, and they'll give you a guitar autographed and everything. And he's like, nah. $1,300 to meet them for a meet and greet. But if you do $3,500, get the whole works, they give you a guitar, they give you a bunch of stuff.
You get to do a sex tape with Vince?
Jeez, dude, are you sick or what?
Don't you remember that sex tape he did with that? Yeah. She used to be hot. She used to be that hot porn star that was in Janine, I think her name was.
I can't think of her name.
I guess Tommy. I mean, Tommy's been in one too, I guess.
Yeah. Nobody. I don't think anybody really liked that Tommy and Pamela series they had.
I remember seeing it. I have Hulu and I see it come up, but I remember that was probably. I just remember, I just hated Tommy Lee at that time. He wanted to be a rapper, and it's just.
Oh yeah, Tommy Land. That's he wanted to be a DJ too.
Oh, Tommy Land was actually good. He did that. He did a book, but he had an album. He had a couple songs on there, like when he had his TV show, like "Take Me Away." That was rock. That was okay. But when he started rapping, he did a rock album.
That's
like he did that one, like I don't know why everybody hold me down or whatever. That was a good song, and he also did, he did a couple rocks albums, which were like better than anything anybody else in the crew's done. So
I bet you like Generation Swine, don't you?
Yes.
You like that song Brandon, don't you?
No.
It's better than Torpedo Girl.
No, you got that wrong, brother.
No,
put that poll out there. Let's see how that works out for you.
I would put Torpedo Girl on a 24-hour loop before I listened to Brandon one time, and I mean, that was that did not fit that album at all.
And what's the sad part about Motley Crue is that the self-titled 94 album is the best thing they've ever done. And Nikki
everybody
Sixx will not give it the time of freaking day. It's like John Bon Jovi with, his earlier stuff,
Yeah.
It's like the fans love it. Obviously not enough to buy it.
Nope.
But I mean, I saw the Generation Swine. They had this one video. I saw them with Cheap Trick. Tommy was still in the band before he left. And I think it's the second one off Generation Swine. And it was a song about, it showed all these people committing suicide. And it's about how you die and you just kind of go on. And I was just sitting there captivated by the video of everybody, like all these like people public educate.
Yeah.
Like there's like some congressman that he shot himself on TV. And,
and
it's like the song's about dying and you're just, you're gone. And that song really hit me. And the late 90s were a lot better than the early to mid 90s because rock was kind of back. Yeah, you had your Limp Bizkits and your heavier bands. I mean, rock, Marilyn Manson, Motley. But yeah, I saw them on a few tours. But I like their later stuff. I'm not a big. I quit listening to them after 2005. I saw them on the Crew Fest, and I like when they were touring with Kiss and they came here. I was in the middle of moving and I had a chance to go, but I know it's like this stadium tour. It's just like, if it was just Poison and Def Leppard and Joan Jett, I'd go. It's just weird. Motley on there makes me not want to go.
Wow.
Yeah. That's because and they used to be I told you that they used to be my favorite band in high school. I loved them because they were closer to my age and stuff. But that's just my choice. I'm not boycotting them or nothing. It's just
it's gonna call for a boycott of Motley Crue now.
Yeah, but and if people want to go, they can go. I don't call people out for going. I went and saw Kiss and they supposedly using backing tracks. I don't care.
I don't.
I don't care. It's entertainment when it comes down to it, and there's a lot more people than Eddie Trunk's talking about that do it.
Yeah, apparently there was a group called Santa Cruz, not a well-known group that got caught doing it, and Eddie Trunk went off on them too. So,
but I wonder why he doesn't touch the Chris Jericho Sebastian Bach issue. Sebastian Bach called Jericho out for doing it. Jericho pretty much admitted, but it's no different than what his buddy Vince does.
Exactly.
Motley Crue, they've been doing backing vocals since the late 80s.
Nikki Sixx admits that they've got backing tracks, they've got the horns and all this other stuff playing on tracks. No, I see points on both sides, but if you don't like, just don't go.
Well, I don't think that. I think he's talked about it enough that he keeps talking about it. He looks like an asshole.
Oh well, yeah,
I just think that he looks like a jerk, and I think that's why people, a lot of people, I don't like Kiss, so they suck, somebody put that on Facebook. I think it was on Loudcaster. Somebody put the video on there, and some guy says, you're at the point now, it's like it's always been, you either like Kiss or you don't. If you like Kiss, you're probably not going to care. If you're outraged about it, you probably haven't paid attention to them for a lot of years.
Exactly.
Because they've been accused of this for a lot of years.
A long time.
And I tell you, if Paul is singing to a track, when I saw them the 3 times on this stuff, he needs to get his money back because, it's a 70-year-old man. I saw them and when they were in their 30s, they weren't in their, prime, but I saw them in the Hot in the Shade. There were no backing tracks then, I just don't, I don't know. I think when you call somebody out, you're trying to put yourself on a better pedestal. Like if I was, Eddie Trunk's not even a musician. He has no idea how that stuff works.
He said he was going to go on tour and it was going to be Eddie and the Tapes is what he's going to be. He was going to have backing track and all this stuff. So,
and he wonders why Paul Stanley won't give him the time of day.
He's just digging the hole deeper.
Yeah. If you said that about me, I wouldn't go on your show.
I know.
I
have to watch my mouth.
I don't know. He did pretty good with that radio chick or whatever. So he held his
own.
Yeah.
So when you're in your van down by the river.
Yeah.
But here's another thing Kiss related. Friday, the next Off the Soundboard series comes out.
Why?
Donington from 96.
Why?
Kiss Online. Here's my question. Does Kiss Online get get stuff out that people pre-ordered in time, whereas it will take a month or two for them to get it. Like the last 2 times I've ordered it.
Okay, talking about albums and vinyl collectors, did you see how much that stuff for the Elders going for?
What, the picture disc?
Yeah, they're selling that for $1,000. People are buying that stuff
eBay.
for $1,000.
There was
That album is not. I don't get the vinyl collection. I'm not a vinyl, so you have to forgive me. I saw that you got Smashes the other day.
Yeah. I've got. Well, if you count Kiss World, I've got four more to get.
But I guess, but somebody also put, well, don't. If I have the money and I can pay for that, then it's like the meet and greets, and I see that point too. But I don't get the fascination over vinyl. Because I don't like, because my memories of vinyl are hearing it skip, pop, and skip.
Yeah.
I like the cover art, but I have like cover art here. So
the big thing I loved about vinyl and CD and cassettes was you had a hard copy, you had the liner notes. My daughter has started buying some vinyl, like she'll get some retro stuff, but she got.
And I get that for her because it's retro, but to live with it and I just didn't like vinyl. I was not a vinyl guy.
What's the little girl's name? Olivia Rodrigo or something like that. She's apparently big. I've never heard anything she's done. But
dude, you're a world famous podcaster and you're not hip with the generation of today. What the hell?
Kill me
God.
now. But she bought some vinyl the other day and it was double. I thought she opened up. It's like, look at this, Danny. It was double. It was a gatefold, and she was just like, "This is so cool." And I said, "Does it have the lyrics in there?" And then she said, "She got that on the little sheet that the album's in." I said, "That's just like it was back in the day," and that was always one of my favorite things there.
Yeah, I like to get a cassette and the smell of it.
Yeah,
not so much the white one, but when they became more metallic
clear.
Yeah. And I would sit there and I would put it on and I'd listen to it. I remember when I bought Appetite and I'd sit there and my grandma was down and visiting and they had this mall downtown called River Center Mall. And I went to go buy it and I was 15. And the girl goes, "Are you 18?" I go, "Yes."
Yes, I am.
And I bought it and I remember listening to it. I remember hearing Appetite for Destruction or Welcome to the Jungle and thinking, who's this little kid singing?
Oh my gosh, what was that song? There was a song. I took my daughter and one of her friends to out to eat yesterday, and we were on the way back, and she had control of the music. And there was a song that came on. I actually liked the song. It was from Dawson's Creek. Wheatus. You ever heard of Wheatus?
No.
They did a song called Teenage Dirtbag, and I listened to it.
Nice.
Like, that girl is singing about another girl. She's like, "Daddy, that's not a girl singing, it's a boy." I'm like, oh my God.
Wasn't Dawson's Creek all religious and Christian?
No, That was actually filmed in North Carolina, in Wilmington.
Is that the dad that admitted that he was a pervert or whatever?
No, you're thinking about Seventh Heaven.
Oh, sorry. That was religious.
That was. Now, Dawson's Creek dealt with like teenage kids. It's supposed to be set in Boston, but it was filmed in Wilmington. No, it was not religious. Katie Holmes was in it. What was her name? What was it? Michelle Williams, one that was married to Heath Ledger. She was in it. Had some nice looking ladies in there. But,
yeah, I didn't. I was
big.
I quit watching all that stuff after Melrose Place in 90210. I quit watching.
I watched 90210.
I think I went back to the Young and the Restless.
I wasn't a big Melrose fan. I was 90210.
Dude, Heather Locklear? Come on, dude.
Yeah, but it was
Josie Bissett.
Josie Bissett, yeah.
God.
I mean, I would say Heather Locklear and Josie Bissett was hot too, but yeah, I just never watched that. Then you had, because when they put Princess, what's her name from Spaceballs on there, I was like,
Daphne Zuga. Daphne Zuga.
Vespa, that was her name. Princess Vespa. I was like,
I tried to watch Spaceballs. I didn't get it. I was like, this makes no sense. I just
That's gonna go on the Torpedo Girl list.
Yeah, I don't know. Mel
It's not
Brooks.
funny to
I
make
like.
They're making fun of Star Wars.
I know that's why I didn't like it.
You're not a Star Wars fan.
No, I'm a Star Wars fan. That's
Oh,
it.
you
I'm a geek for
Mel
Star
Brooks,
Wars.
dude. It's Mel Brooks.
But you've never seen Silent Movie, so that's
Yeah,
Mel
but
Brooks'
I mean,
best movie.
Yeah.
My opinion. My opinion.
I've seen Blazing Saddles, History of the World, High Anxiety, Young Frankenstein.
You know, I used to think was really hot was Terry Garr.
Yeah.
Like when she's in Young Frankenstein and Mr. Mom.
Mr. Mom.
Oh God, she was hot.
Robin Hood Men in Tights.
Was that Mel Brooks? Wow, that's right.
I'm trying to think of what else. There was another one I'm missing. But
they got pissed at that when that came out around the same time the Kevin Costner one came out.
Oh yeah, but who cares? They'll get over
Kevin Costner cares.
Well, him and Brian Adams.
Hey man, don't be talking bad about John Dutton, man. Yellowstone.
I'm not talking bad about John Dutton. I'm not talking bad about Costner.
Yellowstone, brother.
I liked him in Robin Hood. I liked him in Yellowstone. I liked him in
I liked him in Waterworld. That was a great movie.
Yes, okay, that's number 3 on the list.
Waterworld's a good movie.
Hold on, let me write this one down.
What's wrong with Waterworld? It's a very good movie.
Torpedo Girl.
When's the last? Okay, Days of Thunder.
Torpedo Girl. Doesn't Get Spaceball and Waterworld. Okay, I have to remember this stuff.
Hey, at least I didn't say Wyatt Earp. That wasn't a very good movie.
I'll go
Tombstone was better.
Tombstone was a lot. Oh God, that is not even in the same league. No. All right, so we've done the movie focus. Now next week, album focus, and you guys will have a ball with this one next week. It's one of my favorites.
The dogs are already excited about it.
Yeah, they got excited about it when I just started talking about it.
Yeah.
But anyway, until next week.
Where can they find us, Stevie?
They can find us on YouTube. They can find us on Spotify, Anchor, Goodpods, Podchasers, Apple Podcasts. We did get a few subscribers on the YouTube channel. We got a review, a good review on Apple. So give us a 5-star review. It only take you like maybe 2 or 3 minutes at the most, unless you really want to embellish and write a novel about us or anything like that, which I doubt you want to do that. But just leave us a 5-star review. It helps out a lot. If I could get you guys to do that, I would really appreciate it. I know Worden.
And you told me I can't do that, right? So
why can't you do it?
I'm part of the show. You told me I couldn't do that. I can't write reviews for our own show, can I?
No, that's true.
Oh man,
you could have
tried. I tried, man. I mean,
you could have said you did it before you joined the show.
Yeah. I could have those burner accounts like other people do.
Sonny Pooney.
Your words, not mine. Leave my fellow Dallas Cowboy fan alone.
We may, as much as I've avoided it, we may have a future guest that is a Cowboy fan, and I know you guys are going to.
I like him already.
Yep.
When I had to put up with the 4 you and the cling.
I knew it. I knew it was going to come back to haunt me. But yeah, we've got some guests coming up. We've got some interviews coming up too. And like I said, we got the album focus. Like I said, check us out. All the social media accounts. You got our Instagram. Worden takes care of our Instagram. We've got Facebook. Hit us up on Facebook, Twitter, whatever. Send us a message. If you like what you see, please leave a review, or you can let us know. I've had some guys talk about super fans of the show, and they love the show. And so get it out. If you love it, show us some appreciation, and write a good review about us, and follow us, or like us, subscribe. We would really, really appreciate it. It helps out more than you know. That 2 minutes of time to do that review helps out more than you know. It gets us out there to more of an audience.
Isn't that a line on Turn on the Night? If you know it, show it. Or
if you know it, show it.
I always thought that he should have done if you know it, show it.
Oh, whoa! Maybe that's what he did. Gene probably wrote that song.
Well, that was already in Home Sweet Home. I remember when that girl lives.
Oh yeah.
Tommy
yeah.
sees it.
Anyway, he wouldn't have done that if I'd have done it. Though. You'd be like Chris Farley on Billy Madison. You've never seen that movie either, have you?
Yeah, I haven't seen Billy Madison.
Okay, I was getting ready to say.
I am not a I mean, yeah. We ought to do a podcast on what some of our things that we know the other guy won't like, and nothing to do with religion or politics.
Well, we're not going to do politics. That's
Religion, politics, or sports, because we know where we stand on that.
We are out of that. We're not going to. I've said that all along since I started the podcast. I would not do politics. So.
Or religion.
Yes, that's right. All right. So next week we will see you guys. We're gonna try to put our episodes out every Monday now. That's easier for me. We record on Wednesday nights most of the time, so we'll put our episodes out on Monday. So be ready Monday for the newest episode of On the Fly.
And it's going to be a very, very hot
episode. Very hot.
Very hot.
Anyway, you guys have a great week, Worden. Try to stay cool down there. Don't let it get so hot down there as the next episode will be. But,
hey, the air conditioner's still working, so I'm above blessed. So
yeah. All right, guys. That's going to do it for this week. You guys have a great week, and we'll see you next week on the fly.
See ya.